What is a Glock killer? There's a lot of people out there trying to kill Glocks. I don't know if you can kill a Glock, but today we have a Shadow Systems DR920 Foundation. Some people say this is a Glock killer. I don't know if I agree with that. I think they had a really good attempt at it, but we're gonna put this thing through its paces today and see what it's all about. Also, we would like to announce Big Woods Goods. Thank you for sponsoring us. We really appreciate it. If you're in the North Atlanta metro area, be sure to check them out. They can help you with anything that goes boom. A little back history on Shadow Systems. So apparently, from what I understand, they used to modify Glocks and put aftermarket parts on it and everything, and then they figured out, hey, we can actually kind of do our own thing with this. They have what's called the Elite series, which is their, top of the line, whatever, all the bells and whistles. And then a couple years ago, they actually came out with what's called the Foundation series. So this is more so the meat and potatoes of what they sell. So not as many slide serrations. You get a polymer trigger versus a aluminum trigger, but all in all, it's pretty much the same gun. You're still getting the same great texture. You're getting the optic cut. You're getting iron sights with just like a white dot versus tritium night sights. For some people, this checks all the boxes. Some people want all the bells and whistles. Foundation series, I wanted to try it. I wanted to put it through its paces, see if it lived up to the other models. I've probably put about 500 or 600 rounds through this so far. I did have some issues that we'll talk about later, but today we want to run it hard and see how it compares to maybe a Glock or other pistols. I don't know, what did you think? You're not a big Glock guy.
So I owned the DR920, but I forget what edition that was.
I sold you the DR920 Elite, which is like the top.
So I had like their top end. I didn't love it. I just, I think actually shooting this, I figured out what I didn't love about it and what I don't love about it.
What do you not like about it?
I don't love the backstrap they ship with. It just feels like a bulge and I don't like that. That's probably a terrible word to use, but
bulges are fine. If you're into bulges,
feels like,
you're actually not into bulges. That might be a good thing.
No, I'm not into it. That's what I didn't love about it. It wasn't that it didn't shoot. It shot great.
Yeah.
And this shoots really good. That's one thing we're going to talk about and get into here in a second is how flat this was shooting. But for me, that's just what I didn't love about it. Everything else feels great. I mean, it's especially, what's the price point on this?
Like $667.
Oh, so you're really close to just like for what you're getting a lot more than what you would get on.
Yeah, because like a Glock MOS is roughly $550,
and that's what this would be like really competing with.
Right, but you're still dealing with a plate system. They don't have a plate system with this, so that's why they're able to get the optics so low. So a big thing too, if I can look at it real quick. So the backstrap thing you were talking about. So they ship with 3 different backstraps, and it's different than Glock backstraps. Where the Glock, you're just adding basically beef up here and like a beaver tail. Well, this already has a beaver tail, which is great. A lot of people like that. But their backstrap system focuses more on the hump. So there's, I think they call it high, medium, low. This is the medium, which comes on stock. They actually say that this is more like Smith & Wesson M&P or whatever. I actually think the medium feels more like a Glock. If you put the large on, it really emphasizes the hump back here. I ran that for a bit, but it just feels like too much. I don't know. But I have an MR920 actually run the low. So I don't know, it's interesting, but it's a really cool design because depending on what gun you're used to shooting or what platform you're used to, you're effectively changing your grip angle, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about the trigger in these. So the Foundation series has the polymer trigger versus the aluminum trigger in it. Can you tell a difference? I think so, a little bit. I have a Elite MR920. The trigger pull is lighter and smoother. This one is a little, right there, you can actually see my finger. It's a little gritty. So when I'm dry firing, I do notice that, but in live fire, I honestly don't. The actual brake is it's pretty clean. It's about a 5-pound brake. So it's a duty trigger that they don't claim to have some special fast trigger in it. It's just supposed to work. And it does. One thing that's really big about Shadow Systems, and they claim it's a flatter shooting gun, which I do think it is, but the felt recoil of a Shadow Systems a little bit more like sharp. So it's like almost a greater felt recoil, but all in all, the gun actually does shoot a little bit flatter. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're looking at that, but the grip texture is awesome. Who is this for? Being a non-Glock type shooter,
I
who would you
mean,
say this is for?
when we talked about the RXM, and I was like, it's not for me. But honestly, after shooting this yesterday, I'm like, oh, that might be fun to grab. I mean, I kind of want to buy a Glock just to have, or something that takes. This is like Gen 3, right? Like that's similar to like a
Gen 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah. So like, will it take Glock parts?
Yeah, so that's something I failed to mention. A big selling point for this is that it takes Glock mags. It will take most, it's either Gen 3 or Gen 4 aftermarket Glock parts. There's a couple things that are specific to Shadow Systems, but a lot of the parts like trigger.
So generally you'd be able to walk into a store and buy stuff off the shelf.
You can do barrels.
Or, you know, when everything hits the fan, break the windows, steal the stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But you'd have a Glock.
Yeah,
so like, yeah, for me, like this makes me think, because I kind of want to have that ability.
Sure.
And I've thought about it, but I just haven't jumped on one yet. But after shooting this, I'm like, okay, maybe. That's a good price point.
Yeah.
So
also, when I got this, I didn't have to buy new holsters because it fits in all of my holsters. So one thing I'd like to say, I did about 200 or 300 rounds into this gun. I actually had an issue with the trigger not resetting. So I basically had a dead trigger, but it wasn't all the time. So I called Shadow Systems. They were great. I actually shipped this back to them, and I had it back at my doorstep in a box within, I don't know, a week and a half. They never told me what it was. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to go back and see if I can figure out that information, but I haven't had any issues yet. It's been really good. All the other Shadow Systems I've ever owned, I've never had that issue. So, you know, people say Glocks don't mess up. They do mess up. I've seen it. So, you know, maybe I just got a bad part or something out of spec, but so far it's been good. And no issues since then. I think this is for, and I'm saying this because this is me. I don't want to go buy a Glock and send it off to have stippling. Yeah. Send it off for an optic cut. I don't love the MOS, so I'm kind of over that. And I don't want to have to get new iron sights on it. I don't want to have to get, you know, slide work, all that. I don't want to drop any trick. Like, I'm not one to tinker with things. I want to pull it out of the box, and I want it to run, and I want it to be 90% of the way to where I want it to be. So when I got introduced to Shadow Systems, I've had about 4 or 5 now. I really started to see the value in what they were doing. I would say thumbs up, 2 thumbs up for the Shadow Systems Foundation. Yeah.
I mean, I think at this price point, it's almost a no-brainer.
At the end of the day, the value is there. And I don't mean that in a cheap way. It just means that I think they listened to their customer base and honestly other brands' customer bases and took notes and did what everyone wanted Glock to do. So Glock, if you're listening, you should probably take notes. And let us know what you guys think. Subscribe below, leave us your comments.
A like, thumbs up.
Thumbs up. It's great. What do I say now?
I don't know. Finish up.
Thumbs up. Let us know if you like it, if you hate it, if you
own one, why you own it.
Why?
Just jump down in the comments and tell us everything you think about it.
And I didn't wear Black Rifle today for that one guy, so but you can go sit down on it.
But I have Warpo on, so maybe you don't like them. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.